June the 16th, 2024. Guys, you're looking at this afternoon's update. It was at 1:46 p.m. Eastern. That would have been 2:46 Central, which would have been a little over an hour and a half ago. And what we got are two systems. The one we've been watching on the Yucatan is now at a 70% chance of cyclone formation within 7 days. Now, that's how far this goes out. More than likely, we're going to start seeing, as it enters into the Bay of Campeche, development, and it will go into the 2-day forecast. But it's saying that a large area of disturbed weather is located over Central America and the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico and the adjacent waters of the northwestern Caribbean Sea. Broad area of low pressure is forecast to form from the system over the southwestern Gulf of Mexico on Monday and Tuesday. That's starting tomorrow. Environmental conditions appear conducive for subsequent gradual development of the low, and a tropical depression or tropical storm could form by midweek while it moves slowly westward or west-northwestward. They're saying regardless of development, several days of heavy rainfall expected across portions of southern Mexico and Central America, and those rains are likely to cause life-threatening flooding and flash flooding. Locally heavy rainfall is also expected to spread over portions of the northwestern coast of the Gulf of Mexico by the middle of the week. Now, we're already seeing an influx here, guys. If you're in the central Mississippi area, Alabama, Louisiana, more than likely you can see that we're very overcast. We've got rain coming in from the Gulf itself. I'll show you the radar. Anyway, 70% chance of development for this storm, and we'll look at the models. There may be a couple coming out of this area. Then here, 30% chance. This was, again, also this afternoon, trough of an area of low pressure is forecast to form by midweek a few hundred miles northeast of the central Bahamas in this area. Environmental conditions could be conducive for some development of the system thereafter while it moves westward or west-northwestward. And that's what happens when El Nino collapses and everything changes to the other direction. So we're already going to get some rain before this comes in. We actually need some here. There's a lot of farmers that have been planting in this area, and we need the rain. Last summer was so bad, we're not really going to complain. But I think this is foreshadowing what's coming because of the way the Gulf is moving, and the wind and the currents and everything there. But again, here's Jackson, Mississippi, Hattiesburg. Gulf Coast is down here. We'll move one radar south, kind of give you an idea of what's coming in from the Gulf. The radar doesn't scan that far out. But here in Louisiana, Baton Rouge, you're seeing some showers. All along the Mississippi River, Macomb, again, Hattiesburg, Mobile, you're getting some. So all along the coast, probably down in Pensacola and back towards Houston. This is just the beginning of the influx of this week's coming up tropical weather. Now let's back way out and take a look at the satellite over the Gulf of Mexico itself. I'm not sure on cell phones, but this is the outline of Florida, how well you can see it. Let me say that, and then Yucatan here and Cuba through here. This is what's coming in, guys. So again, from down in Texas, before long it'll be in Texas, see right there. And then Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida. In Florida, you don't need much more, and you are getting somewhat of a break in this area here. You got some overcast skies, but you're getting up closer to the Big Bend. That's going to change. Now, right in here on shore is where they're watching this system that we saw the X at with the 80% chance of development. Right there, and they're expecting to spin off into this area. Now, notice we're still getting some upper-level shear in this direction. Not a lot like we've been seeing, but the motion from the north is going to affect this also. So you've got dry air mixing with this warm, moist air, and that's why we're seeing the storms form here. But this should get out in this area here, and the models are showing it come in very close to the Mexico and Texas border. Plenty of moisture being pulled in behind the system. Check this out, going down into the Caribbean. Switching to infrared, guys, we can see where the moisture is. We're under not heavy rain here, just right on the edge of this is going to be mostly sprinkles. That could continue and You see some storms popping up a little further south along Natchez here, along the Alabama-Mississippi line, probably getting close to Meridian over in central Alabama. But right in here, watch as this moves all of this section right here. See that circle? We've been watching this area for a reason. And look at that. That's what they're saying is an 80% chance of development, and that is a very strong percentage when you're dealing with tropics like this. Now, off this coast here, and we're talking about a 30% chance, it's not in the picture yet. One of the models do show a system coming in north of the Bahamas, guys, and coming into the east coast around the Carolinas. We'll take a look at that one too. But you've got a lot of moisture involved. And more than one, maybe three models are showing this system right here developing, coming in this area. The other one right behind it coming up a little further north. One of the models does show the second storm coming straight up following this weather right here. So let's take a look at that. And again, plenty of moisture coming out of the Caribbean. You could see that on the large map. We're going to be watching this, guys, by sometimes tonight. I'm looking for this thing to really get kicked off in the warmer water. But if you watch it, I'll speed it up one notch here. There's rotation around this area right there. And it's trying to get cranked up. The only thing that's been missing is this moisture. Now it's there. Now let's look at the Navy model first. This goes out 8 days. What you're looking at is a battle between this orange and red area called high pressure. Well, I'll let it rotate through. First storm that we're watching now come off the edge of the Yucatan is here. Comes in just south of Mexico-Texas border. But here, the second one pauses on the 24th. That's as far as this comes out. Right in the western central Gulf, right there. Now, notice as it goes through again, we got high pressure here steering this storm. But as this one comes up, the high pressure is retreated back into the Atlantic. That's going to allow it to move right up, guys, where the weather is now, where we're getting these rains coming in through Hattiesburg, Mobile, New Orleans, and through there. That looks like what's setting up for this to happen right there. Again, high pressure retreating opens that gate. Now, let's take a look at the Canadian model. This one goes out from today to the 26th, 2 more days than the Navy model was. It's showing both storms coming into Texas and Mexico. The first one is a little further north, right there, basically coming in across the border. So that would put the cities along the southern tip of Texas here, along the Gulf, that you would get the brunt of whatever this turns out to be, a tropical storm, depression, or hurricane. That's going to be on that right quadrant. But notice they show the high pressure still trying to dance into place here and forcing the second storm to go even further south. Just watch it go through. First storm, again, a little further north, South Texas. Check that out. This is the one of the things they're watching for there, too. We'll take a look at that. The second storm is kind of losing the battle with high pressure. But notice in this area, guys, in the next few frames, this is what they're watching for right there, that bulge. And some of the models actually show it much stronger than that. Now, the GFS model, it goes out a little further than both of the ones we just looked at. But it's noted for its inaccuracy in the long term, but its accuracy in the short term. And we've got the Canadian model and the Navy model getting close to each other on their predictions. When that happens, you can watch that. Let's watch the GFS again. Notice the system that comes in from the Atlantic. Continues building up here, but watch it peel off right there. And you got a storm coming across Florida into somewhere around Alabama, Mississippi. It doesn't look that large yet. I'm going to let it play through, and we're going to do a stop and look at the timestamps. Notice here, here's the storm coming off the peninsula tonight. Second storm, high pressure still trying to force it back in. Really can't tell what it's going to do. Third storm right there. Now, when we're going to watch the small storm coming on you guys on the East Coast. Right here, That's June the 20th. So that would be around Thursday, something like that, guys. It's just offshore. Let's step it off through this thing. That's still the 20th. Still the 20th. Coming ashore on the 20th. Crossing Florida. Maybe just a rainmaker. We don't know yet. Still the 20th. 20th first. It will be entering the Gulf here. Just step it through. Right there along the Appalachia section of Florida. Sliding the coast up to Mobile. See that? And then coming ashore right on the Mississippi and Alabama line. Again, this is going out to the 21st. Remember, their long term is not as accurate as the short term, but 4 days, they are pretty accurate within that. Let's just let it play all the way through again. Constant storms building up, including one that's going to, they're showing come across the Mexican Peninsula here, right there. What's important is where that last storm is and how this high pressure is reacting. Here it's starting to push back. Notice that. So expect this one to go a little further north than what we're seeing here. It had that brief opening. But guys, I just wanted to come here and kind of show you what I'm seeing. Make sure you're prepared for everything. Next few days will be very testy. As soon as this thing gets in here, South Texas, Padre Island, northeastern Mexico along the Rio Grande here. Make sure you're prepared for this because you got the Rio Grande there, and you get it further north. You get it in some mountain ranges where you're going to have some flash floods and things like that. And we're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.